surname was Hernandez, that people often didn't think that you could be an officer, or they would call you private, or?
It wasn't a joke. It was a racial institutionalized system of thinking.
Did they think it was a mistake or something?
Yeah, you wore the name Hernandez, and automatically you were a sergeant. And when you think about it, there were a lot more Hernandez sergeants than there were officers. So breaking that stereotype was very, very difficult. And I remember many of my Latino friends telling me, you be sure you do everything right. You be sure you do everything perfect, because you're representing us, you're representing La Raza. And if you don't do it right, man, you're going to make us look bad.
Ruben, I got to go to
work. There was pressure from both sides.
I wonder what Ruben said during the break about, you said that if you were Latino, they kept sending you back.
If you were Latino, leading a platoon, if you're an officer or a sergeant, that kept sending you back on the missions, on the patrols.
Really, you were like a boomerang. He came back, let's throw him out again.
I've got friends, 4, 5, 6 Purple Hearts that kept sending them back.
Really?
Because they wouldn't die. They just kept going back.
I mean, you're like an ever-ready battery.
No, the fact is that
Roy Benavides
if
was
you
shot
were in a leadership
57
position,
times.
if you were a Latino in a leadership position, you were more likely to be scrutinized extra or doubly so more than another officer.
Now, Colonel Joseph Smith, you were saying that it depends on where you were at the time and where the bullet was at the time. And
Well, that's all part of it. I think it's a matter of perspective, the unit that you were in, and to some degree the branch that you were in. I was a Marine, and historically the Marine Corps has been open and has also been closer than some of the other services. And during World War II, for example, we had a Lieutenant General, Pedro del Valle, who commanded artillery on Okinawa. But the point is, Marines were involved in Central America during the 30s, and consequently there was more of an affinity between Marines and Latinos than perhaps others. But I think the armed forces overall, since President Truman did the desegregation of all of the services.
He officially desegregated.
That's correct. That the armed forces have led the way.
Now, Raul, you said that there were black platoons and there were white platoons, and that Latinos were sent to either?
No. When we came in from the field, like for instance, when we came back to a fire base or a base camp, everyone had their, usually the white GIs would congregate.
Oh, you're talking about hanging?
Yeah, and then the blacks always had their little group. And as a Latino,
but that had to do with the music.
Exactly. Yeah. You want to hear country? You want to hear country music?
I have to say something that's really important here. Ruben is wearing an emblem on his cap that symbolizes the problems that existed even after the war, when our young men were being buried, and the initiation of the American
GI. Is that the funny
GI
caps problem?
The initiation of the American GI Forum was started because when the Latino soldiers were being brought home in caskets, they were not allowed to be buried with the white boys.
Exactly.
They refused to bury
in Texas,
our combat heroes.
In Texas, they had a situation like that, which of course there were many situations like that. But this one went to court about it because this guy came back to his little hometown in Texas.
Private Felix Longoria.
And he was not allowed to be buried in the cemetery.
So he can die for the country, but he can't be buried.
Exactly.
Right.
So the American GI Forum still holds and fights for the honor and the positive image of the Latino
and exactly, I think the fact he's wearing this cap, it's sort of like identifies from the regular standard brown VFW cap, but also because it's a Latino organization, and you can tell that because it's red. You know, Latinos, we love red.
Oh, we do. We look good in red and black.
Yeah,
Let's talk a little bit about the Gulf War and what's going on. There are many theories, and I want to talk to Colonel Hernandez about it, as to what is causing Gulf War syndrome. What do you feel is going to be the final word on that? Was it the burning of the oil? Was it the pills against the gas? Or was it the toxic gas that was released in that area when they were, I think, blowing up munitions? I'm not going to make
I knew you were going to bring that up, and so I brought you a little pamphlet here. It's called Persian Gulf Veterans.
It's called Communicable Disease?
No, actually, bad sand.
Bad sand. Okay, let me hold it up. You got that, Dario?
Basically, that is a very, very difficult situation to center on the ideological factor that's causing the problem of the individual, male or female. It depends on where the person was doing their duty, what was going in the environment, what their personal resistance was, if they had an immune response to any of the medications or any of the shots that were received prior to their going. There are so many factors. And of course, the stressors that are in a war environment, as you and I were talking about, Chris, there's no such thing as a safe war.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as anything goes in war. And so you don't know what you're walking on the ground when you're going out there, and they had some of the units that were cleaning up. Well, what in fact were they cleaning up? Who went before them and said, hey, this is what you're cleaning up, this is what you're picking up? So the beauty of it is in the Veterans Administration, in the Veterans Affairs and the VA hospitals, there is no racism. This is where the veteran, male, female, no matter what your ethnicity is, receives the medical treatment that is necessary. What we're finding out, and what my challenge is now, I've been with the VA hospital in Long Beach and the system there going on 7 months, is the outreach and the accessibility of programs for the special groups such as the Latinos, such
You
as
said
the...
that they don't take advantage of the VA...
they don't know.
Exactly.
They don't know.
We're too proud.
They don't know.
We're too proud?
We're very proud. The information isn't getting out, or wasn't before Gil got the job, because of the work he's been doing. The outreach is there.
Cool.
The clinics are happening.
Because the average Latino, like he's saying, will go out, make an application or something, and if it doesn't move fast enough, or if it's too much of a job, he's going to go,
Olvídalo.
Yeah. You know how our people are.
But the beauty about the VA hospitals is that there are state-of-the-art hospitals that I go to as a veteran, and anyone in my family who would be qualified to go to a VA hospital, I would have them there.
Let me tell you, when I first came back from Nam in the 70s, I went to the VA in Houston, and it was just people were rude. I mean, it was just everything possible. Everything was made to discourage you from going there. And they would only deal with if you were like dying on the table. But because of that, I never chose to go back to the VA. Now, 2 years ago, my cousin, who's a non-vet, was with the Marines in Houston. He told me about going and seeking treatment to see if I was, if I had PTSD, the post-traumatic stress disorder.
If?
Yeah, no doubt I did. But I was amazed because I went in there.
About it.
I went in there and it was
You're
like
the poster child for post-traumatic.
There you go.
We have another.
All I can say
This brochure that he owns. Is this post-traumatic stress syndrome?
That's it.
She's
Zoloft.
Zoloft.
It sounds like some...
Remember,
Zoloft be with you. Zoloft be with you.
Let me finish this, Mr. Comedy Man. Mr. Comedy Man, let me finish
Okay,
this.
before his medication kicks in.
Yeah, exactly. No, the thing is that I went 2 years ago, and you know what? I was amazed. I mean, they were very nice. It's like, yes, sir, can I help you? I mean, the appointments were there. You went there. They were bending over backwards to help you.
Colonel Smith, do you think things are better?
Absolutely. And furthermore, I think the media bears a obligation to help. We spend a lot of time on road rage and chasing bandits and what have you. All sorts of TV time goes to that. But you try and get public service ad or discussion such as this on television, and it's a tough fight with a short stick.
Yeah. Yeah.
no short jokes, please.
Oh my goodness, this group. Well, I was going to say, I mean, there are so many war heroes that are Latinos. I have a list of them, and I'll say them later. And it seems to me like we don't, Latinos ourselves, we don't promote ourselves and our involvement enough. I mean, we have sports heroes, but the kids don't know about war heroes.
We've got a whole batch of individuals that want Congressional Medal of Honor at 38. Even Roy Benavides, who recently passed away, he went around speaking on, talking and encouraging people to stay in school. This man was shot 54 times and kept going back.
54 times?
Yeah, he went on a mission.
Stephen, be back with more Cafe California. Thank you.
Along that line,